around the same people, then pretty much group mind is gonna kind of form. And you'll all be talking about the same thing. But if you constantly meet new people or venture off onto new topics or new places, then it works out.
Huh. Yeah, totally. And might as well be adventurous and meet new people.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you've mentioned that you've done a couple of festivals. Have you traveled other cities around the country doing comedy?
Yes, my Momma's Biscuits, we went to Richmond. Awesome. And we performed at Richmond. And then I've been a part of a couple festivals that take place in New York and like Jersey.
Right on. Right on. Cool. I'm glad you're starting to travel around. Come to Austin sometime. It's pretty fun. Yeah,
I'll be into that.
Yeah, it's warm a lot too, so whatever we can do to help, get rid of those winter blues.
Yeah, we're dealing with a day of snow.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe like 2-3 days ago, it snowed, and I've lived here 8 years, it's never snowed. But it snowed, and like, it was mayhem. Like, and it wasn't not even an inch, like a dusting, like a light, my windshield, I might have to turn on these wipers, like nothing. Right?
Yeah.
The whole place was in disarray. It was like, close the schools! Get the roads closed! We can't handle this! It was so funny.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. I can't do it either. I used to think, I'll just deal with it. But it's like mayhem in front of you, and you're like, well, I'm not going to go drive through those crazy people who are, clearly don't understand how, it's like as soon as one thing happens, they immediately forget how to use the, the steering wheel. How does this thing work?
Definitely. That happens not even just in places where they don't see snow. That happens in places where they know snow is coming.
Every year, at the exact same time of year, pretty regularly.
Exactly. Yeah, they have it marked down in their phone, in the calendar, and alerts going off every year. Snow will be here in 30 minutes. But they still freak out.
What is this stuff? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, so funny. There were even a few people who I knew who'd never seen it before. They were like, what's this? And I was like, oh boy. Okay.
And those are the people that sometimes take it better than the people that see it every year.
Well, I feel like that's the case with a lot of different people. I've met a lot of wild, creative characters in my day, and I find that some people just handle life, and crazy things happen, and they go, oh, okay, sure, let's deal with that. And then some people are like, everything's insane! Ah! Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Every time I see one of those people who is an everything's insane person just dealing with regular life, I'm like, oh man, it must be so hard for you. There's so much stuff to have to do that's annoying. How can you literally have a conniption about everything?
Yeah.
Sheesh. Oh man, wild, crazy characters. So how many people are in your improv troupe?
There are 8 of us.
8. Ooh, that's a big crowd to navigate. How'd you all meet? Were you in the same improv classes?
We all trained at UCB.
Right on. And you met around the scene together?
Yeah, the bulk of us, most of us didn't have classes together or didn't necessarily know together, but we all came there at different points, and then we were all brought together and we performed our group.
Right on. How many years have you been performing?
Excuse me?
How many years have you been performing with My Momma's Biscuits?
Oh, it'll be an official year come next month.
Oh, very nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Was it created out of a festival idea or a show prompt or something like that?
No, it was one or two people that came. Well, it was one person with the idea. She had the idea of forming the group, and then we all just started coming together, and then we officially formed the group then.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
with 12 of us.
Whoa, 12. Oof.
Yeah.
I've had classes that big, and it's always a little hard to navigate that many people. I find 6 or 7 is best, really.
Oh, okay. Yeah, most of the classes that we take are 16 people.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, I bet. Man, so I guess, thank you for bringing that up. I was going to, how are classes? Because UCB's so, the cachet is so intense. Everyone's like, oh, I want to take classes there. So it must be waiting lists for months to get into classes. And then, yeah, big ol' crowds of people going through. Was it 16 people all the way through all levels?
For the most part, yes.
Wow. Wild. Did you have what's the atmosphere like? Is it people are trying to get in and they can't, or, does it seem relatively easy to get into classes? Is there a period of time when, you're hazed, or how's it work?
They put up classes that are going to be available. They mention it. Well, they put it on their website, and then they mention it via Twitter, so when new classes are up, and then it's just however much time you have to check it, see if you can do it, and sign up for it. Is how long you have to get into the class.
Is it ever sold out?
Oh, majority of them are.
Oh.
That's why they do it Twitter, to let you know, because most of the classes sell out.
Oh. Wow, yeah. Did you get a class right away when you wanted to sign up, or did you have to wait a few months to get in?
Well, when I signed up, I applied for a scholarship,
right,
and I got it.
Awesome.
And then I was just on the search for looking for a class to get in. So I was hunting for a class, and I was ready, had my Twitter ready and everything else. So I signed up not long after it came out.
Right on. Yeah, I like to tell people that whenever I'm teaching class and they're concerned about money, I'm like, hey man, everybody's an intern. I was an intern up through the first 2 classes that I taught. I finished taking classes, and then when I finished taking them, they were like, we need you to start teaching right away. And I was like, well, I still owe money for the previous classes, so I gotta tech. And they're like, how about instead you teach and we don't pay you, and instead we trade off your 2 classes that you owe us for 2 classes that you're gonna teach. And I was like, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real early on when I joined the theater, though, so it's a lot more intense these days. But I like to tell people, it's okay, just ask, and somebody will say, sure, we can help you out, or yeah, what do you want to do? You want to work the door? You want to work tech? Do you want to clean the theater? There's lots of stuff to do.
Yeah, that's very true, because when I came into UCB was my introduction to improv. I had no previous training or anything. I did stand-up, and then somebody told me about UCB. I knew nothing about it. And then I walked in, the first class I walked in was my first time really doing improv.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then from there, I've learned that you can do all those things that you mentioned, find a way to work at the theater or help out some way in order to progress yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Build up part of the community, right? Be part of the whole thing. Don't just be one of those people who goes to classes and then goes home, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. So how is the community there, like, buoyed you and your interests? Like, does it help you put up shows when you want? Have you met all the people that have inspired you to do fun projects? What's been your journey with them?
At UCB?
Yeah.
Or it's, my journey is, I find it to be, like, I don't look for negativity. There's sometimes a lot of things come up that involve, either gender or race, certain views that other people encounter. But me, myself, personally, I haven't really encountered those things. There'll be times, not like in a class, but there'll be times where something will be brought up and it'll feel like a little weird, but I'll address it then. But for the most part, it's been cool. Everybody's like, willing to meet new people, to work with each other, and for the most part to help each other.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that. As far as, like, you know, yeah, a lot of people have encountered some issues here and there, but you have not encountered them. I have the same experience. Like, I started doing theater, like plays and stuff like that when I got out of college in Dallas. And I remember meeting this girl working at a theater, and she was like, really like, oh, you know, nobody wants to give women any jobs and it's really hard. And I was like, I don't know, everyone's really okay with me. And a few people along the way have been like, oh no, people don't want to, nobody ever respects women. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I support you and I'm sorry that you went through this, but like, I guess I have a charmed life because people, I don't know, I just go, hey, can I do this? And they go, sure. So I don't know. It can be hard sometimes when you want to, like, you know, be there for your friends when they're going through a tough time, or you're like, yeah, people can be shitty. I'm sorry that they treated you badly because of X, Y, or Z, but you know, it's almost comforting for me to hear that you're like, no, people are nice. I also find people are nice and I'm positive about it too, but maybe that's why we're positive. Is people are nice to us.
And every situation is different.
Yeah.
It could be a case where it's a person that doesn't want to put in that work and they're looking for an excuse for what happened. And then there's a person where something actually happens where they have a reason to say that. Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen some crazy stuff where I'm like, whoa, what? That's, don't say that. That is not a thing. Yeah. Every time I've been in charge of things, I'll be like, oh, no, rough. In fact, I lead a sketch show myself, and one of the craziest things is when we're going through like pitch ideas and we have to have like a discussion about like, is this offensive to people? And then kind of pick it apart to figure out where the joke really is. And you're like, yeah, it is kind of offensive. Okay, what's the real joke so that we can make the joke without using the offensive parts? So I don't know. It can be so hard, especially right now. The world's a little hot buttony.
Yeah, it's about exercising that muscle, because if you have people that are coming in from the beginning, they're not used to formatting a joke, especially in their head that is not attacking something in particular. Like, for example, I was in a class and a scene came about where it was Russian people that were like going to continental breakfasts. And basically it turned out to people were just using Russian accents and saying things. And I was like, this has to change, like, right now. So I spoke up in my regular voice. I was like, yeah, I know I don't sound Russian, but I am. It's just that we don't all talk like this. I was like, we're here because we're on this continental breakfast tour. We're touring different places. So I was like, if they're saying this now, and using Russian accents and all, and there could be somebody that's Russian here. And I was like, and if they switched it and they were saying like if it was black people that were